Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Unlocked Podcast. My name is Brittany, and we are in Belize. I am so excited today to have the guest on with me. I am honored, privileged, and I cannot wait for you guys to hear their testimony. But first, I want to let you know that if you're watching this or hearing this, that you have a story, you have a testimony, you can make an impact to bring kingdom to this world. In the Bible, it says that we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. Mm-hmm. And I want you to know that your testimony matters to bring kingdom. Share it. I hope this unlocks something inside of you to want to share your testimony. And I hope you feel encouraged today. With me today, I have Pastor David and Dupe, his wife. You're going to have to say your last name. How do you pronounce your last name?
Adegbami.
So good. I'm not even going to try.
It's okay.
I always, before we just dive right in, I always start the podcast with life hacks. So a life hack would be, for me, multiple times it's been, like how you wash your clothes, or for me, it's like if you get deodorant on your clothes, rubbing the two deodorant pieces together to get it off. Is there a life hack that both of you have in life? It can be spiritual, it can be in the physical, whatever it may be, a life hack that you could share with us today, that you could think of.
Yeah, stop.
Can you think of anything? Say it. Yeah, whatever you think of. If you can't, it's okay. We can move on. But I always think of like life hacks. I had one this week. I was like, I got to share that on my podcast. But now that it's here, I can't really think about it. I don't know what it is. Give us a spiritual life hack.
As to what fast, or what you're really asking for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What did you say?
Like what you really
wanted to explain better.
better.
It's good. Okay, it's good. It's good. So like in life, how do you mature as a believer?
Oh, okay.
Something that you do every day that helps you mature as a believer.
Oh, I see. When you talk about life paths the other time, it just dawned on me. Before, when I was single, my dad was a what do you call it? A perfectionist. So he wants everything. He loved everything to be perfect. So I grew up with that everything has to be perfect, everything has to be good. You don't have to say sorry. You make sure you do things right so that you avoid saying sorry. And that was my life. But when we were dating, it was a struggle, for me. Even sometimes when I realized that I made a mistake, but I still want to prove myself right because I want to avoid saying sorry to him. So, but most of the time he would, he would tell me this is wrong. And I learned so much from him I learned how to say sorry when you made a mistake.
I love that.
And since then, because for him, he has no problem in apologizing or say sorry whenever he made mistake.
Yeah.
But because of my, I find it so difficult. But by the grace of God, I humble myself and I learn from him.
It's good.
And since then, I know I learned how to say sorry. If I made mistake, if I was wrong, I admitted it and I said sorry.
It's good.
That's one of the greatest things that I learned from
I love
him.
it.
Yeah.
Anything from you?
Yeah, what I would say is that as much as a child wants to listen to his dad, as much as a child wants to hear his dad speak to him. So I've always searched for that, loving to hear God speak to me. As long as I know He is my creator. And having understood from my elementary school that I would be a missionary somewhere, but I was thinking it would be in the Catholic setting because I was born into Catholicism. And I'd wanted to be a Catholic priest, wanted to be a Reverend Father, and right from the primary school, elementary school. But I got to realize that that wasn't the way God wanted me to serve Him. But I was thinking, one day I'm talking about when I was like age 6 or thereabout, 7, 8.
Yeah.
So I was thinking I would be in Rome or Ireland serving as missionary as a Catholic priest. But God had to redirect my thinking to see that what He really wanted me to do is what I needed to do. So I began to search for what He really wanted me to do, where He really wanted me to be, when He really wanted me to be there, and how He really wanted me to do it. And I would say that is vision analysis.
That's good.
Getting a vision from Him to know what exactly, to know when or where exactly. So I do say that we can serve God anywhere in the world, but we will not be able to successfully do the will of God just anywhere or anywhere in the world. It has to be the specific place.
I love it.
So I got to learn to get instruction from Him. Though it might be hard, but I will have to see that I stay praying all day. Sometimes I will be on my knee for 10 hours or 12 hours on my knee. My knee became like a Carmel nail that my dad will have to say, is he still alive? And, but by the grace of God, we are what we are today.
It's beautiful. I feel like I want to get into that really, but I just want to specify life hacks. For you, it was humbling yourself and asking for forgiveness and saying sorry in the right moments, not just all the time, but in those right moments, and learning that from your husband, even before marrying him.
Yes.
And then for you, it's having that childlike faith and really listening to the Lord and not saying, oh, this is what I want to do because I see my father or my mother, or this is what I've known since 6, but continually to listen to God, even we'll get into this, but even at an older age, and being like, I know that this is what the Lord has for me, not saying this is what it is, and then being closed-minded to it.
Yeah.
It's really great. I love that. It's so good. I'm so excited. Okay.
Thank you.
Let's dive into this a little bit more. All right. See, at what ages did you guys meet each other?
I was 20.
Okay.
After my high school.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was about 29.
Okay.
20.
Oh, 9 years difference.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
It's so good. Where are you guys from?
We are originally from Nigeria.
Okay.
West Africa.
West Africa, Nigeria.
Yes.
I love that. And now you guys are in Belize.
Yes.
You met each other. You married. Did you have kids over there? And then you guys moved here? When did you guys move to Belize?
We moved here 2008, November 2008.
Okay. Were you guys both believers when you guys met each other? He was Catholic, from what I understand, and you wanted to be a Catholic priest.
Yes.
Okay. Were you still Catholic whenever you married her?
No.
No.
Actually, he got born again, and he was attending a student gathering, a student Christian fellowship. So, it comprises of the students from high school and colleges and universities. So, and that is where I met him. My little sister invited me to this gathering. So he was the assistant coordinator or something. Yeah. Assistant president of that gathering, the fellowship.
That's great.
Yeah. So that is where I met him.
And you were a believer then?
Oh, yes.
I think, what do you think about the Catholic and the Christian? I know we went evangelizing yesterday, and I loved what you said to the girl. She's like, oh, I'm Catholic. And what is your response to that?
Yes, I made people understand that what actually Catholic means is thinking of universal. So when you talk about, you talk about church, you talk about global church. So I relate that when people are talking about, oh, I'm a Catholic, oh, you're a Catholic, I said, though I'm not a Roman Catholic anymore, but I belong to the global church. I belong to Jesus. So So ecclesia.
Yes.
So that.
Her eyes got so big, and she was like, oh,
So
yeah.
you are not going to be saying that because I'm a Catholic. Because when I ask people, are you a Christian? Last week I was just asking for somebody, are you a Christian? He said, I'm not a Christian. I'm a Catholic. I said, do you believe in Jesus? He said, yeah. Do you have Jesus in your life? Is he your savior, redeemer? I said, yes. I said, then you're a Christian.
I
I try
love
to
it so
explain what
much.
Christianity means because people don't really know what it means. They want to mingle denominationalism
Yes.
with Christianity.
Yes.
And it doesn't really work like that. And I do say Christianity is a personal relationship. And I
So
say,
good.
because you are in the church world does not make you a Christian. You
That's
got to
right.
have a personal
So
relationship with
good.
him.
It's so good.
I do say, we are Christian. Yeah, we are Christian. But are you a Christian
Yeah.
as a person?
Yes.
Are you a Christian? Because
Yeah.
it's easier to say, I belong to that church. Or we are church goer, we are Christian. But are you a Christian? Because it's a personal relationship.
It's so good. So many people need to hear that. I feel like where I'm from and live right now in Philadelphia, it's a lot of the Catholic background. And so I guess even in Texas, it's kind of the same way too. Oh, my mom or my dad's Christian. Yeah, I'm Christian. I was raised in the church. Or yes, I'm Catholic. My grandma was Catholic. The great grandmother was Catholic. It's like, no, it's so much about a relationship. It's so good. It's so good. Okay. So you guys meet each other. You guys marry in West Africa.
Yes.
How did you know to move to Belize? Like, you're here in Belize. How long have you been in Belize, and how did that all come about? Leaving everything behind, your family, your sister is still there. Some tragedies have happened since you've been here, and you're still in Belize.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said earlier, I always wanted to do the will of God, not just serving Him. I want to do, if I'm serving Him, I may be serving Him without doing His will, but there's no way I would do His will and not serving Him. So I always ask Him, Lord, what do you want me to do? And I'd wanted to go anywhere in the world. I've tried writing all Y1 bases in Australia, America, and but I kept on continually saying, Lord, where will you want me? I said, even if it had to be the village, I will go there. So, and I was worshiping the Lord one night, and I knelt down in the living room. We were renting then, and I saw two angels on my right side. They were sitting down in the living room, one of my color and one of like white color. And the one of my color was pointing to me, telling the other angel, said it is time for him to go to Belize for mission. And that's all I heard. It's time for him to go to Belize for mission, and that's what I heard. And that's how I began the process. And having been trained under Y1 discipleship training school in Ghana, West Africa, so I said, okay, since there was no contact anywhere in Belize, and he wanted to go to Belize, so my wife reminded me, if you can contact the Y1 base, and we did that. We contacted Y1 base, but it took them 1 year to answer us, no response. And in the midst of that, no response, there are various something that are glittering but are not really gold. Several opportunities are coming. Not everything that glitters is gold. Many opportunities are coming. I had a friend who said, God is not sending to Belize. Go to Europe. I'm going to sponsor you. I'm going to pay. I'm going to get you a house and get everything. I said, no. Where his umbrella is not, I will not be there. So I don't know what Belize look like, but I will go. I've made up my mind that I will go to Belize, though I didn't know where Belize was.
I just want to stop you right there. I feel like it is so important to have the right people around you. And not only that, be able to have the discernment to know. And I guess the faith too, because if your faith was a little bit shaken, you'd be like, well, maybe that is stupid. Maybe I shouldn't have. Maybe I heard wrong. You have those incredible encounters with the two angels and directly telling you beliefs.
Right.
And you have your friends next to you and the people that you could trust and they're believers around you saying, no, go somewhere else before whatever. It's like you have to have that.
Yeah.
Actually, we have some of our friends said, I would love to sponsor you, but if you go to Belize, we will not be able to sponsor you.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. But if you want to go to Europe, we are ready to sponsor you and your family. But when you are talking about Belize, we don't know about that. And he kept on saying, I would rather go where the umbrella of God will cover me. He showed me and he talked to me. I saw him and I heard him that it's time for me to go to Belize. And that no matter how Belize looks like, I don't know, but that is where I will go.
Because have you ever heard of Belize before?
No.
Well,
For me, no.
Yeah.
I heard of Belize from a friend one time, but it wasn't that. But I've lost every thought about Belize when the angels were talking to me. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been searching for all other YWAM bases all over the world if I had Belize in my mind. So I've forgotten about it until the angel brought up many years back.
Oh my gosh, it's powerful. Okay, so in that moment, you heard the angel say this. You're looking for a year. There's no response from the Belize and why. And then how did it come about? Somebody responded to you. And then how long from that moment to when you set foot on Belize was the timeline? Can you remember? He points his wife. Tell me.
See, I used to say she's my hero.
2007 precisely, when we were talking about this issue of Belize, and I remember I said, you're a YWAM. Just let's check if there is a YWAM in Belize, and they could be our contacts. So we finally got them, and he shared his vision with them, sending email, and but there was no response until a year after. Wow. So after 1 year, we got a call. We are about to go to church that evening, and we got a call from director of YWAM, and he said, we've prayed, and the Lord said we should accept you guys to come and serve as a missionary with us in YWAM Belize. And so whatever that you need to do, we are going to help you to, get your visas and things like that. So, they normally send email, but he called us. So after he called us, and, when we got here, that was when he was telling us the reason why, it took them 1 year before they would get back to us. They said they always get application from Africa, but whenever they help them to process the visa, they won't show up. So because of that, they decided any application from Africa, they just trash it. But for some reason, our application was there. They didn't trash it, but they didn't do anything about it. Until this day that he had a dream that he was on the boat, and he has a lot of fishes inside his boat, but those fishes are black fishes, right?
Yeah.
So, and he was disturbed. What kind of weird dream is this? So he went to his wife and he said, this is, I had a dream, and he narrated the dream to the wife. And he said, immediately the wife said, those are the Nigerian people. You better do something about it. And he said it was immediately they started praying about it. So, and as they were praying about it, he said it was very direct and straight. The Lord spoke to them that they should, send us the acceptance letter that we should come and serve with them as well.
Literal confirmation after confirmation after confirmation of Holy Spirit, not just people speaking to you, but in dreams and in miracles and open doors. Yes. I think that's really powerful. I think a lot of times we want to hear people, and the Lord does use people and speak life over people. But last night I was just reading about his kingdom, bringing his kingdom to earth. That activates something inside of people and gets them stirring. And when you see miracles like that, I think it's like, okay, all right, that's the Lord, and I confirmation after confirmation for you guys. That's it's right. So beautiful. Yeah. Okay, so you guys get here. You step foot on the land, not knowing where you're going, what you're doing, and you stay with YWAM?
Yes.
And then from there, what was their ministry look like? Did you know you wanted to start a church? What was your vision that the Lord gave you when you were here? You didn't have anything until you stepped on?
No. No, the story it's not complete. The story about the testimony of the Lord doing, it's not complete unless we mention some stuff while we are in Cuba, because we didn't give visa directly to come through America to US, which would have been the easier route. But it took us to go to Spain, and from Spain to Cuba, and from Cuba to Belize. But when we got to Cuba, it was like the enemy said, no, you are not going, you are not entering
God's
Belize.
talk.
And I do say, because you had God's word or God's voice does not mean that the devil is folding his hand. The
So
moment the
so
voice of
good.
God sounded unto you concerning his will for your life, that's where the enemy is at work and at war with you.
Jesus,
So the enemy tried to keep us and to take us back to Nigeria. But we prevailed eventually. We stayed, instead of 3 days in Cuba, we ended up staying 2 weeks. So we spent all the money that we
Wow.
had in Cuba.
Wow.
God just give us a miracle that the people that said that there's no way you could go, the guy in charge of the airline said that the plane is the ticket, they're no more selling tickets. And eventually it was the one that after 3 times that the ticket price went up 3 times and we didn't have the money. And so eventually he was able to come to us and he said, she just received a call that the ticket went to the exact amount that we had.
Yeah. It was at 1,012
Yes.
And the
per
exact
person. Yeah, that's what we had. That's what they told us before we left Nigeria. So, and we prepare for that. So, but when we got there, the flight's supposed to be once in a week. So, but when we got there, it changed to once in a month. So we have to stay 2 weeks before we are unable to get the flight. It's a charter flight from Cuba to Belize.
Right.
So, and there we spent all our money there because they allocated hotels for us. So, but that particular money when we supposed to come here, also our what do you call it? Our visa from Belize, they have to finalize verify. Sorry,
Verify.
Verify.
So that took a while before they would do the verification of our visa, and they won't sell tickets for us until they verify our visa. And so that was not in our plan. So we have to spend another money on that. So eventually they asked us to go to the airport. By chance, maybe there will be a space for us in the on the plane because the plane is already full. So, but when we got there, this lady that's supposed to sell tickets for us, for some reason, she was mad at us that one Cubana, which is an missionary to, was helping us. So she didn't like it. And all of a sudden,
I'm telling you, that spiritual warfare is so strong.
Yeah. She picked up her phone and she called their airline and she told us the airline, the ticket just went up. And we could not afford that at that particular time. 3 times it happened.
Oh
so it dawned on me that this is a spiritual battle.
Yes.
So inside the airport, I was just moving up and down. I was praying in the spirit, binding and loosing. And I said, Lord, if it is truly you talk to my husband, you spoke to him that it's time for him to go to Belize for a mission. I said, take us by hand and lead us to Belize. And a few minutes, the lady called us back and she said, I'm going to help you. And while we were talking, another phone rang and she picked it up and she told us that the airfare went down to exact amount of money that we have, 1,003. And that's how we are I was able to got the tickets.
Miracle after miracle. Miracle after
miracle. Few minutes before the plane would
oh my gosh.
So it was a miracle.
Now let me say this. When we were in Nigeria, I always say that, and I've mentioned that in church about 3 weeks ago, that every vision that has significance, that counts most, that God gave me, I've never had a dime on me, not even talking about $1, when God gave me vision of great things. Less I depend on my ability.
Yeah.
So while we were in Nigeria, God gave me that vision to come to Belize. We didn't have anything. God spoke to a brother, a family. He said, go to them. He said, you are the one to fuel that is to pay for their trip.
And he was from Belize?
No.
He was from
from
Nigeria.
Nigeria.
So Nigeria.
Nigeria.
And
He
he
said
was
he
able to-
saw a revelation that
beautiful.
we are in a car moving, and he was the one fueling the
So
car.
great.
So, and he knew what that means.
So great.
Yeah.
So great. That leads me to something else that I heard you overspeak this week as you're sharing the gospel and preaching and all the things. You guys came to Belize, got here finally, spiritual warfare, praying down the airport, got here.
With $60.
Was
60 US.
60. Love it. I love it. The Lord. And you didn't know what you were going to do. And you said this week, and I don't know when this happened, a week after, or right when you set foot, or a month later, or whatever, but you said you had a vision when you were younger and you were walking through Nigeria and you said, oh, you were 15, 14, 15. And you said, oh, there's a high school.
Mm-hmm.
One
Oh,
day,
Ibadan
and then
High
you
School.
felt like the Lord said, one day you'll have a high school.
Mm-hmm.
So you hadn't thought about that in 40, however long, years,
Over 40 years.
about 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
And you stepped foot in Belize and the Lord brought back that vision from
Yeah.
when you were young.
Yes.
Yes.
What happened is, in September 16, 2013,
Okay.
here in Belize, the Lord gave me another vision. We were at SCI Life Change Institute that we're helping our friends with at the Bible school that we do every year. And I saw a revelation. And in that revelation, I saw a man dressed in a military regalia, military uniform, and with all those stars on his shoulder. And he was carrying a kind of ammunition. I don't know the kind of gun, whether machine gun or whatever. I've never seen it before. And he said to me, as it was with Moses, that was called to deliver Israel out of Egypt, so you are called to preserve God's people in the land. That's what he told me. I saw him and I heard him. And so I realized him to be Jehovah Sabaoth, the God of the angels. So with that, we began to see, actually it was after, we just believed that God wanted us to begin a church because the school hasn't started before the church. No. The church began before the church. Who was serving the church in Mennonite church in the Spanish lookout before.
Yeah.
And the Lord, when there was a little problem, there was a split in the church. We still stayed in that church. We didn't move with other people that left. We didn't leave because He didn't tell me to leave. So, but God spoke through an unbeliever, a man. They are the one who owns the property. And they said that, oh, there's a church somewhere there that is collapsing and there's no more people there that would like to go and...
Not worth it.
I said,
It's just run down.
Yeah.
So I said, you go and pastor. I was just like kidding him. I said, you two go and pastor.
To a non-believer.
Unbeliever. And after 3 years, he saw us again. He said, the same thing, the same place is still there. Wouldn't you consider it? And I didn't think about it at all. So because it was not my mind to leave the church where we were. We are serving, we are leading the prayer meeting. They allowed, even the Mennonite church, allowing black people to lead them and give them. So, and...
Just like this, so I can hear like this.
Oh, thank you.
No, it's fine.
Thank you. So when we then the Lord gave me, my wife encouraged me, said, please pray about it. Pray about it. And let's pray. And as
Did you feel like it was a yes? You felt like you feel like
it just, when he said the church is about to close down, that really bothers me. That why will a church be closed down because there is no pastor to help? And that is why I encourage him. I say, just let's pray about it.
The wives and the Holy Spirit. Okay.
And so I knelt down by the bed. I've not finished kneeling down when the Lord gave me the revelation. And we never knew this place at all. We've never recognized this place at all, even though we passed through this place before. And I saw some people by the gate, by the doorstep, and they were like children. They dressed, they dressed gorgeously, but in the spirit realm, they are children, they are kids.
Yeah.
So, and I began to pat them at the back. I said, it's going to be all right. Let's go in. It's going to be all right. Come in. And
in this vision.
in a vision. So I don't have to ask God, God, what are you saying? I
Yeah.
knew what he was saying. And I told my
Immediately.
wife, and I said, we are going.
We are going.
And he said, share with me, what is it? And I shared with him the story.
Mm.
So, and it was when we got here that God began to bring the vision of the school. And the name of the church, Preserving Grace, because out of the vision that to preserve his people in the land. So it is a Preserving Grace church.
Love it.
So part of the how to preserve the people is through education. Because if their mind is empty of whatever education needed to develop, to grow the society and grow themselves, there are a lot of crime in the society now because there are many students, people that are supposed to be in school, they are not going to school. So part of the way to preserve, they are in three ways. The church one, that it is preserving their soul, and the academically to preserving their mind. I mean,
amazing.
Medical, that's what kept us involved in the medical work that we are involved. We have a medical team that comes to Belize, because according to 3 John verse 2, it says, Beloved, I wish above all things that you may prosper and be in health, even as your soul prosper. So those are the three arms of the ministry that
So
we are doing.
I love that. I've never heard that before. I just thought it was Preserving Grace, and then okay. So you mentioned this school. When you came here, you did the first thing God told you to do. He kept bringing this to you 3 years later. You're like, yes, vision, church, name it Preserving Grace. And out of this overflowed the education and the health. And now you guys, I mean, not to spoil it or anything, but they have a high school and it is amazing. So tell us a little bit about how that came about and the vision for the school.
Okay, we were at the same HCI Life Change Institute. We were using Y1 then, due to the mission where we were staying.
Okay.
And we were praying for a young lady, a Mennonite girl, and she was trusting God for a husband. And we were praying for her that night. We used to hold the ministry part of the HCI, the Life Change Institute. So after class work, we would do the ministry work with the students. So sometimes we are there 2 a.m., 3 a.m., that depending on
of course you were.
ministry, maybe deliverance or
anything.
So this time we gathered together right there at Wawa in Roaring Creek, and we were praying for this girl, and the Lord brought me to where we are today. All the way from Roaring Creek, 30 minutes, almost 40 minutes away.
Yeah.
And that being a vision. We were praying for that girl. We were not thinking about whether to have anything. We were praying for that girl, but God gave me that vision right there. And I saw that I was standing right there where we had the junction where
the high school is.
And I knew what God was saying. I didn't have to ask him, God, what are you saying? I knew he wanted us to have a property. And that's when we approached the man that had the property, but the man refused. He said, no, I'm not going to sell property. I've never sold property before. But eventually, later, after some money, he called us back. He said, unbeliever. He called us back. He said, oh, I know God had a great vision for you, and I didn't want to be an hindrance to it.
Oh,
unbeliever
my gosh.
speaking.
Oh my gosh. And that's the second time an unbeliever like that has spoken to you. The church too, right? The church and then the school.
Oh,
yes.
Thank you.
Actually, the one for the school, he is the owner of the land.
Yeah, the man.
The man.
I was talking to some, wait, what?
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes.
That's amazing. The Lord, I feel like my mind is just like so blown. It's just so powerful.
Yeah.
I was talking to some of the Mennonites, and they're like, when you drive into Spanish Lookout,
yes.
A girl, she was younger, and she was just speaking, and she's like, yeah, I love it here. This is my land. This is my land. And we're all Mennonites here. So right when you pass Spanish Lookout, it's so cool. We're building our own community. Every piece of land, every single acre is Mennonite, and you can't buy it unless you're Mennonite.
Yeah.
Well, we can rent it to you if you want it to be rented to you, but not for you guys.
Actually, the land that is talking about it's not the Mennonite land.
Okay.
So we are by
it's
the
so
border.
close.
Yeah. Oh, it's border.
It's literally it's right there.
Yes, it's the road is the
It's
border.
like as close as you can get. Then
very, very.
That's
very
amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got the vision of the school, and when did it click to you that when you were 15? Did it come at the same time when the Lord was saying that you were praying for that girl? Did it come together immediately?
No. I didn't not until even we started the school. I didn't remember.
Oh
I
my
remember
gosh.
that.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
fruition.
Until the school started.
Just things coming into fruition like that is so beautiful.
Yeah.
So it took you how long? I mean, you didn't have a dime.
No.
Again, nothing. $60 when you got here.
Yeah.
The Lord's telling you, run this church.
Yeah.
I mean, they're in the community, like, it's a village in the village, like, and they know everybody. I mean, you guys are just so, I know it's the Lord in you guys and you hate this, but it's just beautiful. It's like, we would never be able to do village ministry. I mean, there's a lot of people and every person you guys, they don't come to your church. These people don't come to your church.
No.
You minister them out of, this is what Jesus did. You literally are
Yes.
Jesus' hands and feet. And loving on them and getting them what they need. I mean, a sugar glucose thing. They don't go to your church.
No.
And just
not
because
at
they don't
all.
go to your church doesn't mean you don't minister to them.
Oh,
it's
no.
just so beautiful
Yeah.
to see you guys be the hands and feet of Jesus in that. So no money for the church, getting sponsored barely, making it by, but something that I've heard you say over and over, God will provide.
Yes.
Oh yeah, we're going to have this high school. You're standing on the ground.
Yes.
God will provide.
It will.
Yes.
It started out as God will provide and it's just continuing God will provide.
That's right.
And it took you how many years to build the high school?
4 or 5.
I think we started 2017,
Okay.
2017 doing the foundation and,
Yeah.
and the like. So it didn't take up to 4 years.
Yeah, 4 years.
2017
Yeah.
to
This
like
started
2021, 2020. That's about 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
4 years.
I came in 2019 and
Yeah.
it was
Oh.
the base.
Yes.
Like you had the floors in. I
Yeah.
remember we had to go to we wanted to go to the second floor to see the classrooms.
Yes.
And we climbed up this rickety
That's right.
ladder. And I was like, I'm gonna fall off. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And we were able to like help build a little bit. I was maybe 1% of helping that. But it's
Yeah.
just so cool. We came back and the first day we were here in Belize, it was your second graduation of 7 students. Now these students would have to, the reason why you built the high school is because after elementary or I don't know what you guys call it here, second,
High school.
after
Elementary.
elementary, but there was no high school. The high school was an
yes,
hour.
Yes, over there.
It was an hour. They have to ride on bus an
That's
hour and a
right.
half to
Yes.
go to school
Yes.
and then
Yes.
come back. So majority of the kids, most of the kids, especially the guys, the
Mhm.
boys,
Yeah.
did
They
dropped
don't go to
out.
school. Yes.
And from the very beginning, education has been such a fundamental, preserving grace,
That's right.
health,
Yes.
education,
Yes.
and
the soul,
spiritually.
Yes.
yes.
Spirit, soul, and body.
And so you guys then built the high school and that graduation, I was getting chill bumps every single time. The passing of the torch.
Yes.
I mean, it's just beautiful to see the Lord in your life like that
Yeah.
and come through.
Thank
It's
you.
amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Thank you.
It's amazing.
God
Oh my
is
gosh.
wonderful.
He is so wonderful.
You see, I one of the highlights thing for me is that I choose since I've known my husband and I know how God is working with him, I choose to believe every vision that he shared with me. And that is what brought me here. I was a teacher back home in Nigeria. When he shared this vision with me of Belize, I know, okay, we are going.
Yeah.
So I laid down my job. I quit my job and I followed my husband with the vision that God has given to him. Then we had a little girl, which it was, she was about 2 years. Actually, she turned 2 years in Cuba on our way. Her name is Covenant. So we brought her because she was little. So we left the 3 children back home with our parents. Yes.
I did not know that.
Oh, yes. We left the 3 children back home because we didn't know where we are coming. So, and we have the little one. So we took the little one along with us and we left 3 at home with my parents. We used to live the same street with my parents. So I left them with my parents. And we came here. We missed them for 9 months. So it was after 9 months that we were able to.
And as a mom, I'm sure that's, but continue to stand by your husband the whole entire time.
Yes. And I so much believe that it is God. So, and I know if it is God, he knows how to bring our children back to us.
Yeah.
So we stood upon the word of God. It was really rough. It's a lot of challenges. Yeah. But, we so much, believe that God is faithful.
And still
that's-
challenges today. There's going to be continued challenges over and over again. And it doesn't get it doesn't get any easier the more he comes into fruition. It's just nothing like serving the Lord and doing his will.
That's right.
Even through the hardships, even through the hard times, there's just nothing like it. There's so much freedom in it.
That's right. Yeah, we've been seeing God working in our life. It's a daily thing that we live a life of faith daily.
Yeah.
I reconnect many times, even when the kids are here, that we have nothing. I remember one day for the children just to realize that, we are going to cook something. I just put water inside the pot and put it on fire. I don't have anything to that we're no grocery, nothing. But at least the kids see that there's pot on fire. And we are, inside of us, we are trusting God, praying. God brings something.
Send some manna down.
And a couple just came here and said, I went for grocery this afternoon. I don't know why. I was just buying things, this thing. I don't need them. But when I got home, the Lord said it's for you. So that's why I brought them for you. So that's how we got our food that night. So many things like that. That's how God has been taking care of us.
I love it. I love it. I mean, this is what this podcast is about, is unlocking the faith and the testimony inside of people for their faith to be built up enough to where they can share and they can share their testimony. And also, so like the Lord is in every little thing, every little detail from when I was 15 years old until now.
Yes.
Is there anything else you want to leave the people with? I mean, you have dropped so many. I mean, it's just powerful.
Yes. Let me say this. I think I've mentioned it before. And that has been my counseling, my talking to people, advising people, because it's easier for us to look for funds, to look for money, to look for property, to look for this and that, and to look for wealth without a vision. It's like someone looking for provision without a vision. And when we get provision without a vision, we're going to squander the provision on nothing. Just as the prodigal son did. He didn't have vision, but he had provision. He got everything that belonged to him from dad. Dad gave it to him. But he squandered it. He wasted it. Prodigally, righteously. So when we get a vision, definitely the provider of the vision will make the provision available. God is the provider of the vision. As long as he is the one who gives you the vision, he will make provision available. So please don't seek for provision. Don't say, God, give me money. If he gives you money, what are you going to do with the money? Give me a vision. A vision is that God, you are saying, God, what is the purpose for my life? What do you want me to do? Just like Paul said when he got an encounter with Jesus, Lord, what will you have me do for you? That is vision. He's asking for me. He didn't ask for money. He didn't ask for, God, give me more land, give me this. No, get a vision. When you get a vision, provision follows.
For me, I would say the voice of God. Let's always ascertain, hold on to the voice of God before you take any action, before you move into anything, even in the ministry. Let's, hold on to the voice of God. It is the voice of God that has been keeping us, even in many challenges that we are facing. But when we remember what He told us, it helps us to stand firm that we know this is God's voice, and it's helping us and moving us forward, because we are sure that we are in His purpose, and the word of God, the word that He gave to us, is the one that is keeping us, strengthens us, and empowering us to do what He has us to do. So the voice of God is very, very important in anything that we are doing.
So good. I am going to listen to this podcast over and over again. I feel like it's just spoken so much to me. I know it's spoken to people that are listening and watching right now, and it's so powerful. I am honored to sit down with you guys.
Thank you.
You guys bring so much wisdom, and I could just sit with you all day. There is nothing like sitting down with people who have walked hard things with the Lord, and people who pray and fast. And I honestly, I feel honored to sit down with you guys and to hear your wisdom. And I just thank you. I will remember this for the rest of my life.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you for your
blessing. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we will talk to you later.